So NIO ditches Nvidia. What's going on with that? Also, very urgent news. NIO, unfortunately, HSBC has downgraded their target for NIO from 7.2 to 4.5, from a buy to a hold, and that has caused some panic. And the stock is dipping a little bit pre-market. But this is a very BS target. I mean, the stock is already at 4.5. Why would you give the target right now at 4.5? That's like, that's stupid, right? So ignore it, guys. It's very stupid. It's BS target. But anyways, recently, just a few days ago at CES, Nvidia unveiled its auto partners with different car companies like Xiaomi, Toyota, all these guys. Take a look. Very, very cool. But notably, some guys are absent. One of their biggest partners, of course, was NIO, right? And of course, XPeng is also missing there. And this is, of course, because both NIO and XPeng are developing their own self-driving autonomous chips. NIO's autonomous driving chip is 4 times more powerful than Nvidia's Orin X chip, while XPeng's chip is 3 times more powerful than Nvidia's Orin X chip. Of course, now they're kind of like competitors, and they're not really working together, and of course they wouldn't list them on that presentation over there. So Li Auto's on there. Li Auto's going to be using Nvidia for the foreseeable future. Tesla's on there, Xiaomi's on there, but not NIO and XPeng. Well, if you guys know, I'm sure you guys probably know, every NIO sold, every second gen NIO sold uses 4 Nvidia Orin X chips, giving it the best computing power out of any smart EV on the market. Of course, that also means that every single NIO that they build, they have to pay Nvidia 4 times for these chips, which is a very big cash expense, clearly. And of course, NIO's way of solving it is to do an R&D and build their own autonomous driving chip. And that's going to save them a ton of money. They no longer have to pay Nvidia 4 times. That's going to improve their margins. All right, margins are going to improve. Definitely. They will improve in a big way, starting with the ET9, going forward using their own chip. Now, what's really, really interesting about this is the pace that they're ditching Nvidia. Okay, this is quite shocking. Right now, if you buy a NIO, yes, the car will still have 4 Nvidia Orin X chips. But as soon as summer of this year, Q3, Q4, this is when they have this product update to 2.5, ES6, EC6, ET5, ET5T. And part of that update, along with horizontal screens, is that they're completely ditching Nvidia's Orin X chips. Instead of having 4 Nvidia Orin X chips, they're using 1 NIO NX9031, which is equivalent to 4 Nvidia Orin X chips, saving them a ton of money and, of course, boosting margins. They're going to be able to, potentially earn more from each vehicle sale because the cost of materials is dramatically lower. Now, of course, the question you may ask is, now that Nvidia is no longer a partner but a competitor to NIO, in a sense that they're all making autonomous driving chips, and the market, right, all the different other EV vehicles out there, they will probably be still using Nvidia's chips, like Tesla, Li Auto, BYD, etc., Xiaomi as well. How does that stand comparative-wise to NIO's chip? Because part of this presentation, they also unveiled and showcased the next generation Thor chip from Nvidia, which Jensen Huang touts as 20 times more powerful than the previous generation Nvidia Orin X chip. So the Thor chip is 20 times more powerful than Nvidia Orin X. NIO's NX9031 is 4 times more powerful than Nvidia's Orin X. So it would seem that from these statements, okay, that perhaps the Thor chip is many, many multitudes much better than NIO's chip in terms of processing power, etc. But of course, it will definitely not be cheap, right? So the question is, of course, with this on the market and NIO's vehicles with the NX chip on the market, does that make it a disadvantage, right? The other cars that use Nvidia Thor chips, NIO's cars using NX 9031 chip. I don't think so, because remember, NIO's ET9 comes with two NX 9031 chip, one as a backup. Now, of course, raw computing power wise, two Nvidia or two NX 9031 chips from NIO is probably equal to maybe one Thor chip, Nvidia Thor chip. So in terms of raw computing power, you probably have something that's relatively the same. But I think more importantly is the proof, like your sanction proof, essentially. Say if Trump threatens China and says, hey, we're not allowing Nvidia to work with these Chinese companies, then in that case, all these other guys that are using Nvidia's chips will be absolutely in trouble, right? Whereas, and we've seen that happen with Huawei, right? Whereas NIO having their own chip gives them very good immunity to this kind of situation. And also, they are essentially, the pride of China, because nobody else, well, not really anybody else is doing this except from Expo. So, they're kind of becoming the pride of China. The Chinese government really supports NIO for their own R&D efforts. Instead of buying things from the West, they're labeled as more patriotic and self-developing it. So in that sense, they're probably going to, be looked at in better light compared to some of these other auto companies. And that is, of course, absolutely the case. You don't see the Chinese government making videos talking about Li Auto and stuff. They talk about NIO a lot. So that's something to consider. But overall, I think margins, that's the biggest thing, right? Margins is going to be a big improvement here. And that's really going to help them reach their profitability goal in 2026, ditching Nvidia, even though they're a competitor now, in a sense. And I think if NIO is able to make this chip a lot cheaper than Nvidia's Thor chip, and perhaps could persuade some of the partners, some of the other automobile companies to buy NIO's chip, they can really actually take market from Nvidia. So what you got to understand is that Nvidia is losing market share. Okay, that's the big takeaway from this. Nvidia is losing market share. NIO is gaining its market share, first with their own products, but eventually maybe with other products as well from other car companies. So that's a very big takeaway. And I think, this is very good, and it's going to save them a lot of money. Okay? As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.